All righty. All right, we are back. This is Fantasy After Dark. Welcoming everybody who's joining us as we get going here on another Wednesday night edition of Fantasy Football. I am Brett Berry of the Otter Football League. Joining me is the Fantasy Reaper, Mr. Will Danilczyk. How you doing?
What's up, Brett?
Will?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm flying a little blind this week. I didn't get to watch too many of the games because I was in actually Texas, so I was down at Texas A&M for a conference down there. So
Texas A&M. Okay.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to update me. How did you do? Maybe we'll get to that. Sorry.
I lost.
No, I know.
But,
I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You know what it was? I screwed myself. I didn't put out my pregame ritual of the Dwight Schrute meme, like the one where he's got the sheet up and says, "This man is a pervert." I did it 2 weeks in a row. I got Devil and I got Russo, and I didn't do it for Mullen. I thought maybe I'd do it Monday night, and I should have. And Matthew Stafford. We'll talk a little bit about Matthew Stafford. He looks like he's hit a little bit of a wall here. I don't know if it's an injury or if it's the Odell Beckham fallout, but we'll get into that. We'll get into some more of the matchups this week, and of course, we'll take all of your questions if you're tuning in and have any fantasy questions or how maybe to grow the perfect beard. Will is here to help you, and
I got you.
We'll make sure everybody is aware and what to do.
Speaking of hair, your hair is growing back nicely.
It is. I know it's finally getting there, and I got a little trim on the side, so I don't look like I don't look like a chia pet anymore. And
I was thinking Q-tip, but yeah, I see Chia Pet too.
Yeah. So let's recap what happened this week. We had some big games like from Jonathan Taylor, who went off against Jacksonville again. Yeah, again, and
dude's ridiculous.
I know, and it's incredible. Carson Wentz, who he was up and down in his career for the Eagles, but maybe it was the coaching. I mean, maybe that's what it was. It was just definitely they weren't exercising all of his his attributes, and now in the Frank Reich system, he's getting to hand the ball off to a premier back, and it's certainly with Michael Pittman Jr. emerging as well. He doesn't really need to do anything else. I mean, he's a great game manager, and they got a good defense in a soft AFC South. So we'll see if they continue to do their thing there. Who else kind of went off this week? I know we had a couple of wide receivers that had some big games. I know Mike Evans scored. And
my dude Ramondre.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about Ramondre. So this is what happens every year, right, folks? Bill Belichick, he's got a new fantasy running back. He's got a new running back he likes every week. But this week it was about Ramondre because Damian Harris was out, and Ramondre got to tote the rock a bunch, and he scored twice. He was catching passes at the backfield. This might be something we see moving forward with him being involved. But if Damian Harris is healthy, he's going to play. I mean, that's just the way it is.
You think it's that way, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I actually thought that Ramondre was kind of getting the Bill Belichick treatment of kind of this is our way. If you don't kind of go about the Patriot way, you're not going to even see a uniform. And he's kind of gotten him on board there. And I mean, it could any given week he could just be a healthy scratch, right? He can go for 200 yards one week and then not play the next. But I think that he is exactly the type of back that that Belichick hasn't had really in a long time, really probably since Corey Dillon, right? He's a bigger bruiser, but he can still catch the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him go and take over a larger share. I don't think he's ever going to be kind of like an every down back, like
25 carries,
22 touches every week. But I could see him becoming something a little bit more regular. And they loved him in camp. Everybody just always raved about the kid, right? Which
where'd he go? Oklahoma? Is that where he went to school? I believe so, right? Ramondre.
We need Boyce. Boyce would know.
He would know that. I'm pretty sure. Ramondre Stevenson. Where did you go to college? Yeah, he went to Oklahoma. Go Sooners, Boomer Sooner. He could, like you said, he's not going to be that. It's a dying breed, right? The bell cow back, if you will, is not really somebody that we see a lot of now these days.
Pretty much Jonathan Taylor, and that's about it.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, and then Henry before he got hurt. So, Yeah, so I mean, another name that I want to throw out there, it's a guy that you had, and now I have, is DeAndre Swift. Now, the yards per carry didn't look great, but he got the ball 33 times in a game where Jamal Williams was not involved. He did get vultured twice for touchdowns, long touchdowns by Jamar Johnson or Jamar Jefferson, who's a rookie. I didn't know that. I heard the other day he was 2 picks away from being Mr. Irrelevant, and he's making some hay now. We'll see if Jamal Williams is back, but Swift. Let's look forward to next year. Is he going to be? I mean, he's got to be a top back, right? That you take in the top 12 picks if he's getting this kind of workload.
I think he's definitely a first round back. I think so. The thing is, the production needs to start matching the opportunities, right?
Yeah.
I think this year he's spent a lot of his time going and kind of catching up in garbage time, and that he definitely has talent. What's holding him back? Is it the team? Is that going to change? Sewell is playing better there, so that definitely helps. If you get a really good offensive tackle, it really helps the running game.
Sure.
But I think that he needs to step it up, right? That he shows the flashes. However, he's getting into end of year 2, and he'll be going into year 3. That he needs to really start showing out to really give you that faith that he's a dude going forward there.
Somebody who I was a little disappointed in this week, Javonte Williams, man. I mean, look, last week they were positive game script. They were able to run the ball a ton, and they were up on Dallas, and they were just pummeling that defense with the run game. And even with Melvin Gordon gets the touchdown. This week, though, they're behind. Teddy Bridgewater's all off, all out of sorts, and he doesn't really show up. The touches he does get, he's great.
Oh, they're impressive. I mean,
he's one of the best.
So when he gets the ball, and I shouldn't be pulling stats off the top of my head, but I think I saw that he breaks tackles on like 38% of his runs or something, or he breaks 38% of tackles, right? So it could be more than one broken tackle on a run. But it's an incredible number, right? And which is why his yards per carry is pretty high. But when you're only getting, even averaging 5 yards a carry, when you're only getting 8 to 10 carries, right, and not catching the ball, it's still only a 5-point lead.
Yeah, he's not involved in the passing game, which is odd because look, Melvin Gordon is a good running back. Let's put it that, but he's on the other side of his career, and we talked about this in earlier shows. If Denver's out of it, do they say, okay, well, what do we have now in Javonte? Maybe we do give him 15 to 20 touches a game, and I just don't see the passing work there yet. And it's frustrating. Vic Fangio is, you don't really know what his rhyme or reason is for putting Melvin Gordon or Javonte in when they're in. And it's been a frustrating couple of weeks for me personally as a Javonte owner now. But we'll see moving forward. They start to slide out of the top spot here because you got, KC's back on track. That whole division is a mess.
Kansas City's they'll piece it together, right? Yeah. They'll win at whatever, 9-8 or 10-7 or whatever the numbers end up being this year. So I think actually, we're talking about your team. I think the biggest winner is on your team, fantasy wise, is Corey Dillon.
Corey Dillon,
Corey Dillon on the mind now, right? And which dude's like a man among boys out there when he does get the opportunities. I think they're planning on riding him, right? And
for at least 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, at least well, Jones is out, right? So Jones will be back probably 2-3 weeks. Probably if they're sitting pretty, no reason to really rush him,
That's a good point.
So you might get an extra week out of there too. So, but I think LaFleur, he said it that he's been impressed with Dillon, that he's really kind of it almost seems like he was a little giddy to kind of prove everybody wrong about why they drafted this kid in the second round and what he could be.
It's interesting, it's almost like they were looking for an excuse to give him the ball a bunch, and now they have it. Jones is hurt. And I saw a tidbit the other day. I'm on Sleeper app, as everyone is now. And if you sift through all the toxic comments, you can see that, they worked out Kerryon Johnson. Now, is that just, that might be just a fallback plan, but if you're working on an extra running back, that might mean Jones is out more than the 2 weeks they've alluded to. So, and there's no.
Well, he's not on the IR though, right?
Yeah, he's not on the IR, so he's not going to miss 3. But they did say 1 to 2 weeks. That's not an official statement from Green Bay, but there's no guarantee that he gets his full-time job back. And look, it's an MCL. Like, these aren't things that just heal magically and you're back on the field. So I think Dylan's got a nice 3 to 4 week, 4 what might be pushing it, but at least 2, maybe 3 week run of double-digit points in a standard league now, because he's catching the ball out of the backfield and he's getting the goal line carries. I just would hate to see, now that Dylan is the guy, defense is keying in on him, and then you always see that bootleg by Aaron Rodgers, and he just kind of waltzes into the end zone. So
which Aaron Rodgers also, like, he's a guy that cares about his stat line too, right? So
of course.
He actively poaches touchdowns from his running backs.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but I do think it's exciting there, that opportunity, and the unfortunate part in a keeper league is that Jones will obviously be back next year, right? So what does that split look like going forward? And does it take some of the luster off of Jones as well, who's in his own right a unique back? Yeah,
for sure. Quick reaction to what we saw. A couple of things, couple of quarterbacks that did not play well. Now, look, I watched the Tom Brady interceptions. One of them was
Zach Wilson
absolutely
sucks.
Not his. Yeah, Boyce isn't here to defend his boy, but Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucks did not play well against the Washington defense. And another name, Matt Stafford. Now, this is 2 weeks in a row where he has looked really poor, and you kind of see glimpses of the old school Matt Stafford, the gunslinger Matt Stafford, where he's just chucking the ball up and getting picked. And that was like kind of what he did in Detroit. There wasn't a throw he didn't like. So I fully expect Tom Brady to bounce back because he's Tom freaking Brady. But it's an interesting point where you bring in a new receiver, right? It's not like a lineman. It's not like a defensive player. They are an up-tempo offense. Matthew Stafford now he has to huddle up and explain the play, or at least call the play out, so Odell Beckham knows what the hell's going on here. They can't play that, get to the line and run the play in the huddle or outside the huddle. So maybe next week they get right. They're on a bye this week, so we'll see what happens. That'll certainly help them, but I was disappointed in Matthew Stafford's performance, obviously, and especially in our league where -4 points for a pick. That's such a dagger. But yeah, Tom Brady as well. We'll see if they both bounce back.
Yeah, I agree with you with Stafford. You wonder if this is a little blip or if this is the start of a trend. And only one of those games was with Odell, right? And I mean, Odell you can pretty much call him a quarterback killer these days. Dude's phenomenally talented, but it seems that whenever he's on the field, his quarterbacks do worse. So
it's almost like he's commanding the football.
Yeah. Wow. Eli was just like, I don't know. Eli had whatever he was able to do. His feeding the ball was only time it worked, right? So and then Tom Brady. I think it's a blip. I mean, that Washington defense is good. They have been underperforming all year, but they have some really good pieces there. Unfortunately, that was my eliminator pick. I was 1 of 3 left, and I am out. Yeah. So which
no buybacks, no buybacks.
No buybacks. Yeah. Quick aside, right? That I actually had Pittsburgh, right, and Big Ben pops COVID. I'm like, shit, I can't go and start him without Big Ben. Which I would have lost there too, right?
I was gonna say, if a tie is a loss, regardless.
Yeah, a tie is a loss. So you gotta win it. Yeah. So not great. I'm out. See you next year, eliminator.
Yeah. It's those are tough, man. I mean, because you can't pick the same team twice, right? So you try to save your horses for the end. Tampa Bay. I never like taking a team.
It's a road team.
Though. Yeah, I never like doing that. And if it comes down to two teams,
I had Pittsburgh at home, right? So it was a last minute scramble. And I picked the whole season, week 1. So because I like to try to be able to map out the whole season, so I don't get stuck in a week. And then I'll look at it every week and kind of swap things up, because like Miami, for example, I had them a couple weeks back, and I was like, oh shit, like Miami kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I think it was a Miami Houston game, and they're both like 1-7 going in, and it's like, damn, I expected this to be a layup.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, Miami. Well, now they get the Cupcake Jets, who have just oh man, it's so bad.
Brutal, brutal. It's ugly. It's bad when Rex Ryan's going and running laps on you.
Yeah, you saw that. I mean, he's like, don't compare me to this guy. At least I knew what I was doing on defense. He did know what he was doing on defense. Then he tried to run the offense, and we saw what happened there.
Yeah,
so.
no, that was great. Not great.
Yeah, I mean, let's preview week 11. We'll keep this pod short here and kind of look forward. We'll go over our matchups, of course, and kind of just key in on some guys that we like for this week. Unless there's something else you want to throw on the docket.
We got anybody in there? Any comments?
I don't know. No comments. We only got 2 people watching right now, which I don't give a shit. Who is it? If you're here, if you're watching, on the big screen. If you're in and watching, let us know if you have questions about any upcoming, possible ads on the second wave of the waiver wire. Who you're excited about this week, who you're disappointed with. But we'll press pause and answer questions whenever you want. But for now, I guess we can just kind of go through the matchups. We of course are matching up this week. Will, this is our yearly matchup.
Mano.
Yep, and this week is the week that I was looking at my roster. I was like you do in the eliminator. I like to plan out my roster for the week. That's why I was able to pick up. Tua, but I had picked up Baker Mayfield, and he got dinged up. So we do have a question here from John Frazier, Jeff Wilson, JWW. I think it's JWJ. Jeff Wilson Jr. Sermon. Why is Elijah Mitchell hurt?
He is. Yeah. So Elijah Mitchell broke his finger, right? They think he's still. Shanahan's talking about that he's going to go. He had surgery on the finger though, so I don't know if he puts the ball in the turf if he's out. I know Sermon's been like a hot waiver wire ad. I mean, if you have to start one of those 2, you're not looking too good, Mr. Frazier. But out of those 2, I would start Sermon. But I would think that you'd probably find something better.
Here's a name I'll throw out. JaMycal Hasty. Is he back? Is JaMycal Hasty a thing still?
Here's the thing. I think he's also
out
hurt
of the backfield. Deebo Samuel was getting carries and got a rushing touchdown just to put a bow on my shit week. You never know. Shanahan's another one of those guys. He doesn't care about your fantasy football team. He just wants to win the football game. So you don't know who it's going to be.
I think he actively doesn't care about your fantasy team. I think it's actually rather piss you off.
Yep. It's kind of like
get the use check touchdown.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's a bold play. So let's look at our matchup here. I'm gonna bring up the old matchup tracker here because we do have the ability to do that. There it is. Are you rolling with Derek Carr over Russell Wilson? That Arizona defense has looked pretty stout. He looked
I am not starting Russell Wilson. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
I was half debating dropping with Russell Wilson.
No,
so
come on.
He looked absolutely brutal. I'm afraid that hand doesn't come back, and but yeah, obviously you can't drop.
Do you feel like they rushed him back after the surgery?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, not even that Geno is that bad, but the thing is that this might be their last go of it, right? With Russ and with this core group. I think Russ sticks around there longer term, but obviously there's been a lot of turmoil. So I think that they try to get him back. They didn't want to fall too far out of the playoff race. Yeah. And then dudes have already started to check out, right? You watch DK just be like, hey, I'll just go and pull you around by your face mask a little bit so I can get to go home. So anyway, I don't know. That Seattle team, it's tough. It doesn't have the heart that it once did when it was the Legion of Boom. And I think they brought Wilson back too soon, and he looked terrible.
And going up against Arizona, which has proven to be a pretty good defense. Now look,
who saw that one coming? By the way, freaking Arizona. That Cliff Kingsbury coaching up some defense.
Well, JJ Watt, who's old, but he's still got it, and they've got a real good linebacking core. They've got that one young kid who's real good. I can't think of his name, and of
Simmons.
course, Isaiah Simmons, and their back end's good too. Matt Ryan or Cam Newton from Dr. Devilfish. Oh man, Matt Ryan or Cam Newton. I like Cam this week, but I don't know if he's going to put up numbers that'll reflect a top 5 finish. Let's put it that way. I mean, he's definitely a low end QB1 in my eyes. Matt Ryan, though, this is interesting. Matt Ryan looked awful last week. but he could just all of a sudden go off and throw for 4 touchdowns. They're not going to be bombs, but they get inside the 20, and he's got his mojo. He's got his red zone mojo, and I don't know. That to me, it's a toss up. Will, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that as lost his name, Mr. FedEx down there in Atlanta. That I think Matt Ryan. What the hell is the name of the coach there? I lost it.
Dan Quinn, or did they fire him?
No, they fired Quinn. It's the guy that came from Tennessee. So anyway, he was able to go and coach up Tannehill, right? And
Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith, yeah.
And Arthur Smith's dad owns FedEx.
FedEx? Wow, yeah. Interesting.
So dude's like a heir to being a billionaire, and meanwhile, like working a normal job. I mean, as normal as being an NFL coach is. Anyhow, I digress. I think that the thing is that he coaches up a really kind of quarterback friendly offense, right? And that you go in, you don't have to be, if you can make the right decisions, you don't have to be like superstar talented. And I think that Matt Ryan he's coming around to kind of being able to go and make those right decisions. And kind of like when he had this MVP year under Kyle Shanahan, which is a very similar system. They actually come out of the same tree, right? Because it was LaFleur there before Smith took over as offensive coordinators. LaFleur, who obviously has the ties back to McVay and Shanahan. So I think that the offense is very well tailored to Ryan. He's past his prime, but he's able to operate at a high level. I would go Ryan as a safer bet if you need the lotto ticket of a high upside. I mean, Cam could get 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns, but he didn't look that great, I guess.
Yeah,
other than they was able to run the ball in. So I don't think his like shoulders back, and then he's going to be throwing the ball all over the place. Yeah. So I'll go Matt Ryan, but I think that Cam could pop this week.
The upside play is the upside play is Cam Newton. The safe play for the floor is Matt Ryan. I will say this: if we're gonna split it 50-50, you get the rushing floor from Cam Newton. Now they are going up against Washington, but they did lose Chase Young. So I would say Matt Ryan. Yes, I agree. Safer floor, but if you're going for it, Cam Newton is your guy. We don't have Boyce here to pick a winner for our matchup. You're a heavy favorite here with
Nick Chubb revenge
McCaffrey. Game. Yeah, Nick Chubb. How about a DeAndre Swift revenge game?
Maybe.
And they're playing each other too. Look at this. It's setting up perfectly. I love it. We'll be watching that one for sure. Yeah, I gotta win this week though if I want to keep myself out of the booty. All right. The next matchup here, close on paper, but clearly the better team right now. Ted's got the rising.
How is it this close?
It's close because
is Ted not starting at quarterback? What's going on here?
No, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I guess ultimately he's
Lamar
a favorite.
Jackson, 27-point projection for that's a little lofty.
Yeah, Chicago.
Yeah, at Chicago too. It might be cold, might be windy. We'll see.
Which means they're not going to throw the ball though, right? So it's like
so they'll run it with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going Ted. I think I got Ted here.
I'm going to take Ted only because it's the Cook and Taylor show, and Jonathan Taylor is going up against Buffalo, but he's involved in the passing game. They're going to have to establish the run, or at least try to establish the run with him. And if this is the watermark game for him as like the top running back, this is it. If you can beat up on Buffalo's defense, you have become the guy.
That's a tough spot.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, Marquise Brown's banged up too, and there's a lot of questionables here. I'm going to take Ted too, just because this team's rolling right along. Kelsey, we thought maybe Kelsey was done. He scored again. Did he score last week or did he? Yeah, he did score. But he, no, I don't know if he scored. Let's see. I think he definitely got a lot of points. He did not score, but he had 10 targets and 119 yards. So there you go. Yeah, I traded him week 7, and I would have been pretty disappointed in that, but there you go. He's bouncing back. Yeah, we're taking Ted here. Devil kind of try to scratch out a victory. Did he pick up Cam Newton? No, he did not. Maybe he's thinking about it.
No.
All right, he doesn't
have Ryan either. So.
Walgreens League. Another heavyweight bout we're looking at here. Russo versus Ham. Ham with the tough loss last week. 2-point loss to Steve.
Steve finally getting a win though. Steve has lost so many of those this year.
A well-deserved win. Yeah, absolutely. Gets the 5-5, tying Ham, but he's got the points for. Russo is still in second place after a couple disappointing weeks, and then he gets the boys bye. But here it's fairly close, but I'm leaning Russo only because Tom Brady, after a loss against the Giants. Now look,
against the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, it's personal. Like his one. And it's his one like kryptonite, right? The Giants. But he's at home. It's Monday night. He's going to want to come back and just like light it up against them. And he's got the Godwin stack. He's got the Buccaneers defense. They're pissed. I think they're going to roll. DeAndre Hopkins not cleared to play yet. He might not play, so he might be rolling with his favorite Allen Robinson here, or maybe Russell Gage. Jamal Agnew. I thought he was a running back, and he's a wide receiver. That might be an interesting play there. Jamal Agnew. We'll see.
Yeah, I thought he was a running back too.
Yeah, right.
Which is not good. Maybe I don't know why he's rostering him, but I don't know.
Well, he scored last week. I mean, that was like the guy that everyone's like, "Hey, Jamal Agnew." No, yeah, he's got carries, and then no carries, and 3-5 targets. So this is like Cordarrelle Patterson light here.
Yeah, maybe.
I kind of like it. A lot. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Russo. Because of what I alluded to, Zeke is going to be involved regardless, whether it's catching the ball in the backfield or getting it.
And they're going to try to keep the ball out of their hands, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
that's what everyone tries to do.
Yeah, I agree. I got Russo here.
And we see what Swift did last week. You got Eckler against Pittsburgh. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Tough matchup for him.
Yeah, it's not a good one. And the thing is, talking about Ham's team, Darren Waller. Kind of quietly disappointing this year. He's tight end 7, but like just not.
Yeah, look,
not what you're thinking, right? Like week 1, the 19 targets, because that's what you were expecting, the double digits targets week to week, and it really just hasn't been there. Week 9 against the Giants, he had another pretty big target game, but that Carr's really kind of spread the ball around a good bit more. Maybe those wide receivers
getting involved,
getting a little bit. Developing there a little bit. Of course,
his big breakout was against me, right? Week 1 when I lost by 5 points. You're right. Darren Waller was supposed to be like the top 3. It was going to be, Kelsey, Kittle, Waller. Andrews kind of on that cusp. Now Kittle's been out. Mark Andrews has been great. And Waller, tight end 7 in a year where tight ends are kind of just like you throw
kind of down,
see what sticks. Like Dan Arnold is the thing now.
Yeah, even the top tight ends are not great, right? Kelsey hasn't been great.
Well, Kelsey had a historical year last year, and we didn't expect him to repeat that. But you thought he would be the lock and load tight end 1, which he is now. But Mark Andrews is not far behind, and he has his bye coming up, so that may even out. Kamara against Philly. How do we feel about that? I mean, Kamara was out last week.
Yeah, coming back from the injury.
I
think actually. So the difficulty there is the Taysom Hill factor, right?
Yeah.
Right. That he just doesn't play well with Hill. So I mean, Philly's a nice matchup. I don't know. I was a sell on Kamara this year. And so I think it's a difficult spot for him.
We'll see if he goes. We'll see if he's going. He's still got.
And Damian Harrison's a tough one too, right? Not Harrison, Harris. Damian Harris.
Damian Harris, yeah, big snacks.
Because it's a great matchup, but it's difficult. You just don't know which running back is going to get fed.
Yeah. McLaurin was banged up last week, so he's on the injured report, but did come back and score, I believe. He did not score, but he had, actually not a great game by his standards, but he's another guy who's had a couple of big weeks, but every other week's been like Kansas City. I mean, 8 targets, 4 catches. New Orleans, he's seeing the top guy. Of course, there's no one else to cover.
Yeah, maybe like 2 of the top guys, right? Like
right.
There's nothing there.
Yep. So we're gonna roll with Russo this week.
Yeah, Russo, even though it is tight there in the projection.
Yep. Here's a pretty projected lopsided affair. Kev is, I think the slipper's finally fallen off here. He had a really down week against you. Joe Mixon's back, of course. He was on a bye. Alex Collins with Carson still out. Matt Ryan against New England on tomorrow night. And, it's his team doesn't look as bad, but like you got to get like the big breakout game. Like Justin Jefferson, He did score last week, of course, but I mean, look, this is the game. This is the game that everyone looks for every week, and that's what he was doing every week last year. It was like 9 for 140 and a touchdown or whatever.
But he didn't get the touchdown, right? So it only ended up
didn't.
being a 14-point week, right?
Yeah,
so
this is, of course, if you're not a part of our league, this is a standard league. It's not a PPR or half point. So, yeah, you got to score touchdowns in this league to really be relevant. So, I'm wrong. I mean, Jefferson's looked great. He has. He's looked great and had a couple of down weeks, but
it's not a monster. He doesn't. I mean, none of them have hit 20 points, right? So it's not those monster weeks that he had last year, and it's just that he spread it out, right? That when he doesn't get a lot of yards, he gets a touchdown, and vice versa. So I do think that he's a little bit due. Green Bay, I mean, you can't get it done there. It's a little bit of a tough spot.
Zaire Alexander, their big corner. Hunter Henry's a good name to bring up. He scored twice last week in a game where they scored 45 points, and Atlanta's defense is very civvy. So, I think if Henry scores, I think we've all had Hunter Henry at one point. If Hunter Henry scores, this could be closer because he's only projected 5 points. I could see him getting double-digit points if he scores, of course. But it's going to be a little bit closer than the matchups indicate. I'm going with Steve, though. Steve's on a roll here. He had a nice win against Ham. He's got a really nice matchup where Prescott's going to have to throw the ball a ton or maybe just at least keep up. If they can't keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, Leonard Fournette, we alluded to the matchup on Monday night with Tampa Bay and the Giants. And you got to like the stack with Lamb and Prescott because last week they did it. So I'm going to go with Steve.
Yeah, I have Steve as well. I think he has enough star power there. And the sneaky one is the James Conner one, right? Yeah. That without Edmonds.
Yeah. And James Conner, did score again.
He always scores.
Touchdowns. Yeah, he always scores. Yep. Death taxes and James Conner getting in the end zone. Tyler Lockett, who's been a disappointment here. Honestly, it's got to be one of these weeks, right? He's got to come back and do it because, I mean, this is still good here. I mean, the 3 targets is kind of an aberration, but 8, 13, 7,
just
10.
Week 8 is good. The rest of it's week 1 and 2 and 8, right, is trash. The rest is trash. So that's a difficulty, and I think that if he more than even DK needs Russ to get right, and which even when Russ was okay, like I think it's a big mystery what happened to Tyler Lockett, that he was so phenomenal in week 1 and 2, and then he was great last year too. It was it's kind of been, I don't know, the disappearing act is very surprising to me. I don't really see what changed. And obviously they did change offense coordinators this year. So, but it's difficult to know.
I will say this. I watched that game last week, the Seattle Green Bay game. Russell missed Lockett. It could have been Tyler Lockett standing on top of DK Metcalf, and he wouldn't have caught the ball. That's how bad the throw was. So the finger is an issue. The finger is still an issue.
Oh yeah. I mean, because it's the pointer, right? So that's the one that kind of controls.
Yeah, off the stitches there at the lacing. So we'll see. I'm gonna go with Steve. Are you rolling with Steve here? I feel like you're
I got Steve as well.
You got Steve. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, there you go.
We've been boring. I think we pick the same one every time.
That's right. Well, maybe a little controversy here. Not really, though. Brian getting back on the horse here, 8-2, first place, still holding on after losing both of his starting running backs now. Aaron Jones out. Derrick Henry out. Miles Sanders might be coming back, but I don't know if he's going to play.
Think of Jared Patterson? My dude.
Again? No, he's been on the team for a while here. Yeah, he's had him for a couple of weeks here. Yeah, let's take a look here. Look at between you and him, back and forth. Look at this. A little tinkering with Jared Patterson. You pulling this guy, add it, dropped. Oh my goodness, poor guy. $6, Will. Oh god.
I thought Gibson was going to be done for the year with that.
The shin.
He's the only guy that breaks his shin, and they're like, he's good. Throw some tussin on. Let's go.
Rub some dirt in it. Yeah, I'm gonna take Goop here. I got the Goop Mish. Look,
which actually I do like Michael Carter rest of the season and as a keeper going forward too. Especially, I mean, at some point, Mekhi Becton's gonna come back.
His price though, what was his price? $11. So he'll be like 18, 19 next year. Diggs got on track last week with. I
mean, he's playing the Jets. We'll see when he plays a real team.
Yeah.
The big one is the Tyreek Mahomes stack really played for him,
And look, there might be a lot of points scored in this game against KC. Tony Pollard's going to be involved. I mean, they can't give the ball to Zeke 100 times. So Pollard can play, but we'll see. He hasn't really been involved that much of recent weeks. But he,
he's really slowed down. What else is on the bench there? Is there any other option at running back for him?
Saquon AP, so I wouldn't go against Tampa Bay.
AP against Houston? That's where I would go.
All right. I mean, people are saying AP still got it, but D'Onta Foreman has been the big pickup. He's the guy who's getting the rock a lot. And, if you want the goal line touchdowns, AP is going to be the guy, right? He's the guy that gets in. Devin Singletary against Indianapolis, nah. I mean, he's got a lot to choose from here, but not much. I don't know. We'll see. You know what? I'll go with you. I'll say Adrian Peterson. Start him over Tony Pollard. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Brian knows something we don't.
I'm echoing. Sorry.
Let's pause here and focus on a guy that we have all loved since before he even entered the league, Jamar Chase, who's back off a bye now. My boy T. Higgins has been completely overshadowed by this man, and he's a special talent. He's got the connection with Burrow. We've seen it now for weeks that maybe they double him now. But look at these numbers. I mean, look at these targets. Look at the target share. It's crazy. Didn't do much against. It did score against the Jets, but only 9 targets. But last week or 2 weeks ago, had 13 targets, but he fumbled twice. Is that way 1.9 points? What happened here? I don't know. He fumbled once. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So a get right week for him against Las Vegas. I think there's gonna be a lot of points scored in that game too, actually. So we'll see. We're both taking Brian here though, and we got our last matchup. This might be a look into the future of the booty. Oh my goodness, Chris! Mullen's got to put up 101 points, but Boyce has not. He's yet to fix his lineup here. Boyce waving the proverbial white flag. It looks like, but he can throw in. Ronald Jones. Jerry Jeudy is out. Oh boy, Hunter Renfrow will probably start Hunter Renfrow and Jones, but this is looking bad here. This is looking real bad.
It's not a good look for the podcast.
It's oh man, this is bad. I mean, this is the 2 last place teams now. If Boyce somehow pulls off a miracle victory here, we will have 2, 3, and 7 teams. 2, 3, and 8 teams with a possible third 3 and 8 team with Mr. Jan over here as well. But this is looking pretty bad for Mr. Boyce. Mullen's got, Najee's look great all year. Debo, man, looks incredible out of the backfield.
I tried to get Debo at the deadline, and he said Mullen smartly held on.
Yeah, smartly held on. You know what the thing about Debo is? Last year, he had the big year, right? And then Ayuk emerged as well. And they're always like, well, Debo's getting hurt. Or Debo was 2 years ago, right? It was second half of 2 years ago. He was really big. Or was he a rookie 2 years ago? He's got to be how many years has he been in the league? I mean, but he's been incredible. He's been absolutely incredible. Look at this. Look at the stat line here. 5 for 5, 97 to touchdown. 5 carries for 36 yards on a touchdown with a 20-yard touchdown. The guy is the offense right now. He's their best player on the field. Ayuk is a ghost, continues to be a ghost. I will hold on to him until I die. But I've pretty much I've given up on Ayuk emerging with the presence of Debo now and Kittle back. So this is going to be a big week for Mullen after a nice win against me, and maybe he finds himself out of that booty bowl, and Boyce is going to supplant himself in that final spot, the 12th place spot here, and just wait for whoever falls down to face him off in the 3-game. The best of 3 in the booty ball. So we're both taking Mullen here. And that's that. That's what we got. That's all we got. It's another week in the books. I mean, I can't believe this. I can imagine, I can think back, and when we started doing this show, the preseason pod, and here we are, week 11 already. It's
crazy. The season's gone fast.
You know what? We've got a little time. I want to bring something up right now. I want to bring this up. I want to gripe with you. How is it possible that I am 0-10 in this league? Mm-hmm. How is it possible? I mean, I got to just show you guys if you're watching.
This league is not good for the potty.
Yeah, this is not good. I got to see this. What do I go here for? I go to league. I go to schedule. I just want to see like my matchups. Let's go to week 1. Week 1, I got blown out, of course. Week 2, I lost by a freaking point to the Doug. I lost by 5 points. I got blown out again. I mean, it's just I lost by 5 points to Spurrier. Oh, another one.
8 points.
8 points. This I got blown out again. I mean, it's just this was the one. Where's the one? This against you? I think it was a close one, right?
No, yeah, you were beating me, and then
was that week 8? No, was that week 7? What teams? Who were you getting? The trash squad?
It was trash cans. Now it's.
Here it is. Here it is. Yeah, I lost by 5, and I think I left the win on my bench too. I'm pretty sure I left the win on my
5
bench.
points. It's not too.
Chase Claypool. That's the shit all year. Look at my bench this game. 92 points on my bench, and I lost by 5 points. I can't even look at this anymore. It's just it's the worst league we ever play in. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. They keep convincing us to come back. Actually, 2 weeks ago, it might be last week. Actually, I was like pooping on Sunday morning, and it was as the 1 o'clock games were going on. I'm texting with you guys, and I'm like, "Fuck! I never checked that lineup." Like half my team was like either out or like on bye. So I'm like adding and dropping people in the 4 o'clock games.
Oh my God.
It's just not
bad. Yeah,
not good. Not good.
You and I are just sitting in the booty ball in that league. Oh, it's pretty bad. Well, that's all right. That's why the only league that we really care about is this one, right? The OFL. And
we didn't care about the tomato cans.
Yeah, tomato can leagues. I lost a pretty rough one last week, but in my college league. But again, we're here to help. And if you guys want to tune in next week, we'll be back again. Hopefully, boys full strength, and we'll be answering all of your questions. No Michael Chapp tonight. No Desert Rose or whatever the hell the guy's name was. But we'll keep doing this until people tell us.
What about Squirrel Meat? We got Squirrel Meat on.
Squirrel Meat's been inactive. I don't know where Squirrel Meat's been. I mean, it's great that we have 2 people watching at least. At least somebody enjoys it. But of course, this is always up on YouTube afterwards as well.
I think they're both devil though, right? It's Dr. Devilfish and Dan Frazier.
It might be. That's okay. We don't care. We still get paid by our sponsors, of course. No, I'm really excited to face off against you this week, Will. Do you want to throw an ice bet out there?
Yeah. What do you want to do?
Well, let's just do it
straight up.
Heads up. Yeah, we'll do a heads up.
All right, I'm in.
All right, we got an ice bet on the board. Lock it in. Big ice bet between myself and Will. I'm looking forward to doing this because I thought I was going to do one for the bench ice last week, and I guess Brian got it. So, or it hasn't come out yet, has it? Has the week 10 bench ice not? Oh, maybe I.
Mullen, where you at?
Yeah, Mullen, what are you doing here? Stop changing diapers. All right, well, best of luck to you this week, Will, and of course, I hope it's a tightly contested matchup. And I do die a little bit inside when you post in our chat Chubb with the 18 exclamation points because I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing, and it really hurts me. I'm like, oh God.
Every GIF that comes up with Chubb when I Google Chubb.
You could have like a 20-yard catch and run Chubb, and I'm like, no, God, it's terrible. And I was waiting for Swift to score so I could do one last week, and he didn't. He had 400 carries, for 2 yards a carry, but it looked good in the end. But well, thanks again to Devilfish, and we just gained a viewer here. If you have a question, ask it now. We're about to wrap the show up. We're giving away free fantasy football advice to 2 mediocre fantasy football players here. No, you know what? I will say this, Will. You and I actually do our research. We follow the game. We study the game. You have more of the analytical side. I'm more of the on the surface, what I see with my own 2 eyes side. And we're missing our third wheel here, our trash man, Christopher Cole.
He's the social media side.
Yeah, he likes to look at the the ins and outs of the players' minds. That's our Mr. Cornwall Boyce there. But as the dynamic trio, we are here to offer up all the advice we can, and we hope you tune in next week. But for Will and myself, I'm Brett. We are out.
We out.